Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Rockstar map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. We'll start with Team 1 in the north, and we'll end with Team 2 in the south, also known as the blue team versus the red team. Starting off with Team 1's Western player on his own little landmass we have in Royal Blue. It is Pineapples 3 playing as an Aeon. He is a 1421 rated. To his east, sharing a side of the map, it is Arima playing as a Seraphim. He is a 2050 rated player. He is the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game overall by over 400 points of rating. So again, might be a target of Team 2's ire. And to his east, right next door, we have Skyeva, it's something like that. He is a Cybran. He is an Amethyst Purple as a 1216 rated. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 0 UEF. They have 1 Cybran, 1 Aeon, and 1 Seraphim. So again, just missing out on the UEF tech for Team 1. Moving on to Team 2's eastern side first, we have in Chevy Crimson, it is Terminus 619 playing as a Cybran as a 1225 rated. To his west, we have in Ruby Red, it is Electrician playing as a UEF. He is a 1614 rated. And last but not least for Team 2 in orange, color orange, it is Seal Force playing as UEF. He is a 1454 rated. And I will note that Team 2's Electrician is the highest rated player on his team. Forgot to mention that. And for Team 2 side of the map, they have 2 UEF on the western side, 1 Cybran on the eastern side, and then with 0 Aeon and 0 Seraphim. Which means for the entirety of this match, every faction is represented. But I will note, not on each team. Team 1 lacks the UEF faction, and then Team 2 lacks both the Aeons and the Seraphim faction. And they do share 1 Cybran player on each team. And for the 6 players on the map in this watery map, let's take a look at the reclaim situation currently sitting at... Ooh, that's not great. That is 2,200 mass on the map, and honestly, for 6 players, not really even 400 mass per player. Definitely on the low side, and what we'd like to see in this game. And I'm just going to actually move the mini-map to the corner of the map, because honestly, I only really use it, the little screen, to see how much reclaim is, and I can pretty much kind of see it doing that way. So again, I might leave it there. I might move it over here. I'm kind of debating whether I really like it on the eastern side or not. I kind of like them in the corners, though, so it leaves a lot of room for visual whatnot. But again, let me know if you do like it, where it normally was, in this corner or in this corner. I'm kind of just moving stuff around to see where things could go. And, of course, this is probably just going to stay in the corner of the map. I probably will never move it to the western side. I don't even know if you can move the scoreboard and everything else. I think it's just stuck there. Anyway, let's take a look at where these players are headed off to, which is not necessarily nowhere, but there's a bunch of water on the map. It's kind of fluid in terms of lanes, air quotes, but there are some divisions in the water. We have this little western side, the eastern side, and of course down the middle, where players going for naval factories. We have everybody on Team 1 in the water, not only in the shipyard department, but also in the comm department, being in the water. Again, Cybrans early in the game will have an advantage with the torpedo upgrade if they so choose to use it. We won't see if they will or not until we actually watch them do it or not. For the south, Team 2, everybody's in the pond, except 2 of the 3 players are actually not in the pond. We have distance building going down for Terminus. When we have Team 2's Electrician over here hanging out in his little base, and then we have Team 2 Seal Force actually in the water. But everybody does have a naval facility. Again, 3v3 ladder. There's not a lot of players to go around. There's a big, giant watery map. Everybody has to go in Navy. It's just, I don't think you could probably win the match with only 2 players going into Navy, at least as of right now. We do see Pineapples taking a lot of damage from these Team 1 PD emplacements and a frigate just off the little shoreline of this Trimix position. We do see a radar system also online to give some intelligence for Team 2, and he's taking a lot of damage. He's dropped almost into 25% range, but he is getting some veterancy. He's almost up to 1. Looks like he will get to 1 when these interceptors decide to land and just hang out. He'll get up to about 50% now, but still he is taking a lot of shots. Team 2 on the western side losing their side island there. Team 2 also has the eastern side island, so lots of reclaim and mexes going down for Team 2. And we can see that the leaderboards are reflecting that just slightly in Team 2's favor. I feel like we might see a little bit of teching up super quick to get to T2, both air and Navy, for torpedo bombers and for destroyers and cruisers. Both teams have access to cruise and missile technology in the UEF and the Seraphim variety. And again, every faction is presented, which means all of their unique units might be on display here sooner rather than later. Arima also moving into the middle of the map. Both of these players from Team 1 being aggressive with their commanders, but neither of them are the Cybran one. Being Skyeva here for Team 1. Looks like he's building some Team 1 AA tracers to help just protect his naval facilities. T2 Navy is now online for Team 1's Pineapples. Team 2, no T2 Navy as of yet. And we even see some UEF tech being shifted over to, not electrician, but to, or from Terminus to, actually, it's electrician. It was the other way around, because he has a T2 Cybran facility online, which is interesting that he gave over Cybran tech. But hey, sharing of the wealth is always nice. We do see Team 1's fleet moving in, grabbing this side facility. Team 1 launcher not going to last much longer. And then the subs are going to try to kill off all of the other subs. That is the best target. Shoot at the stuff shooting at you, and then shoot at all the other stuff that can't shoot back at you, because why not? It's a lot easier. We do see Team 2 on the southern side. We have Terminus again. Not really. Oh, he is going for it now. It's just hard to tell because it's in the middle of everything. I probably would have gone with this one just because there's a lot more room to move around. When you put the facilities like this close together, depending on the unit, they have some issues moving around for pathfinding, so it just makes it easier to have them kind of be on the edges. And of course, the Seraphim one is the only one that builds to the right. All of the other ones in the game build to the left. Don't know why. They just wanted to be different, I guess. So there are advantages and disadvantages depending on the map for that. We do see a transport get shot down. Looks like it was from Team 1. Looks like nobody was on board besides the transport. So something was probably going to happen from that. Don't know what, but something. T2 destroyer online, the Salem class, now punishing a couple of frigates. We have the laser weapon equipped in Uashivo T2 destroyers online for the Seraphim player of Arima. Looks like the islands are now going to be split evenly now. We have Team 1 grabbing the eastern one, Team 2 holding the western one, and then in the middle looks like it's kind of a mixture of, yeah, there's still stuff online, yeah, there's still stuff that's offline, but looks like it's a little bit a mixture of both. We do see Team 2, excising the remaining forces from the middle islands. And I don't expect these to be pretty much there most of the map, because I expect a lot of the naval action is happening down the middle of the map. As the game progresses, we might see more fleets emerge on the eastern and western side. We can kind of see that with Team 1. But we don't see a lot of fleet from Team 2. We do see teching up for everybody on Team 2. And for Team 1, both teams, everybody is at T2 Navy. We do see a landing of some forces from Team 2, however, from SEAL Force. Grab this set of mexes here, and then grab a couple of mexes over here to the west. The core mexes for Pineapples are down, and facilities are going down as well. He almost has lost all of his actual, either land or air facilities on that northern island there, which means no more stuff until it's rebuilt. We do see bombers inbound to assist. T2 Air is online for Arima as well, so torp bombers are a reality for Team 1. Same thing for Team 2. Upgrading to T3 as we speak, so maybe even early bomber outbound from Team 2. And usually that is the way it is, where we don't see even really a lot of strat bombers just because it's, focusing the torp bombers to just deal with all of the destroyers, the cruisers, or whatever. There's not that many cruisers for Team 1 as well, and now they're getting punished for it. You have bombers constantly dropping payload after payload after payload on these destroyers. Looks like they are going to scurry on home. We have Team 1 launching an assault down the middle of the map. We have UEF and Cybran forces mixing up with some Cybran and Seraphim forces. No Aeons in this mix, at least because they're up here to the north being bullied by torp bombers. Torp bombers have come home to say hi. It looks like it's mainly destroyers for Team 2 and Team 1. I don't see a lot of cruisers, which is a little odd because, again, both teams have access to cruiser missile tech. Might as well deploy one or two of them around the map, just harassing the other team with those cruisers. We do see destroyers killing off the remaining engineers, and we have engineers reclaiming other engineers. See, the funny thing would have been actually capturing an engineer, getting it away, and then building Seraphim tech out of it. That's the thing. That's not really thought of a lot, but it does happen from time to time. I can think of one match in specific where that actually happened, where somebody stole technology. They didn't use it for very long, but they did steal it. Western side, we have destroyers, again, excised in the side island. So nobody gets side islands, nobody gets middle islands, nobody gets nothing in this game. No reclaim, no mexes in the middle of the map, nothing. Just whatever you can get on your side of the map, that's it. That's all anybody gets. No fun things. And even for Team 1, no T2 mexes here. Just, nope, going to lose those to some nice little Lobos from Team 2, CO Force. We are starting to see a little bit more slowing down in the naval engagements because we're getting more longer range units. We again see a cruiser now online for Team 1's Orima. Team 2 getting some shielding online, one of the unique units from the UEF in the Naval Department. Anybody going early T3? Yes, sir. T3 going down here for CO Force again, trying to get those Neptunes online, I would imagine. T2 and T2 still for Team 2's other players. We have T2, T2, and T2. Nobody going for T3 yet. So this could be a big, big move, and he is going to build some Neptunes and then 5 summits after that. So lots of longer range firepower, but he's going to mix it in with some nice little laser weapons, which you can see laser weapons are efficient because they are, when they are in range, they actually hit the target with perfect accuracy. Granted, when they change targets after they kill their first one, they miss because the laser's still going. But you know, that's the only time they miss is when they're changing targets because they killed off the first one. Cruisers engaging some destroyers. The one nice thing about Cybran cruisers, actually there's 2 things. There's the missile redirect systems on board, and they can actually shoot at other things other than just air units. Now the accuracy for the other things, not as good, but again, you're just throwing lead down range, which is better than not throwing lead down range, so you might as well just do that. And T3 Navy is done. That was fairly quick for CO for 17 minutes. And he's at, no wonder, he's at 230 mass income in climbing. He's leading Team 2 and the game in terms of total mass per second. We have a nice little mobile sonar system running around with the fleet. That is the one thing that is kind of, not annoying, but it's one of those things where you select all your naval units. That also gets selected, and it moves around. And it's kind of nice because, again, it has some jamming and some sonar and some torpedoes on board, but it's very weak in terms of actual naval units, and it's kind of nice to just have something here and just keep it there and not have to worry about it moving. But Team 2 does get some intelligence on that side of the map, so there is that. There are a couple of mexes, I didn't point this out, in the actual water, which is nice to see. They're not very deep, to be honest. I mean, look at how far up that Mex is close to the pond. I would imagine that a crab, that a colossus, a chicken, not a FAF because they're way too short, maybe a Monkeyloid's laser can stick out of the water and actually be used in a more land scenario, given the fact that this is all kind of very high-ish ground underneath the water versus a little bit more depth to these little crevices that you see around the map. It gives the map nice texture, nice geography, whatever you want to call that. So it allows for a little bit more varying of strategies. Again, we'll see if Team 2 or Team 1 deploys experimentals or they just walk them across the map and they can't fire the weapons. We shall see. T2 UEF tech now online for Team 2's electrician, producing another unique T2 unit, being the Cooper. They don't have sub-hunters, so sub-killers, but they do have those Coopers, which just fire a bunch of nonsensical torpedoes. And again, they use the same symbol as the destroyers as everybody else uses, which is annoying. They should just flip the destroyer icon from T2 to the plus sign for the Valiant. So again, make that the Cooper design for that, and then just flip it so you can easily identify. Because every other faction, it's the same icon. It's this little line with a dot on it, and that's the destroyer. Now there's the T3 variety. It's the battle cruiser, but that gets a pass because A, it's a bigger unit, and B, it's T3. So it's easy to identify. In the case where, it's the same class in terms of tech, and it's just one, it's make it the same icon. Just makes sense. Anyway, that's my little rant on icons and whatnot. T3 is done for Team 1. They're charging into, the main production facilities for Team 1. And there's 2 battle cruisers. Again, we should see some Neptunes. Yep, they are being... Sorry, Neptunes. Summits that are being built. Looks like he actually built a 3rd one as well. He's moving it to intercept the fleet from Team 1 that way. Very good unit. Again, I love the Neptune. It's my favorite T3 unit in the game, at least in terms of Navy. My favorite, I think, one of all is the Percy, but, there's that. I have made a rough, design of a Percy via Lego, just because why not? I had some, Lego pieces just hanging out, I'll try to design the Percy. I started looking at the design on the, there's the screenshot of it. I'm that is actually a lot more complicated than I thought, so I made a very rudimentary one. But, it's sitting on my desk, and I look at it, and I go, I should make that better someday, and then I just don't. So, anyway, Battleship punching back to Team 2. Again, the thing is that if Team 2 can push the fleet in, that Hathum, any battleship really, just gets out DPS'd by Team 2's Neptune. If they just do, it's just a thing. You can see this one Neptune annihilated an entire fleet of Team 1 and T2 units, so the DPS is there. You just need to get it within range. And that is the one downside to the Neptune, or 2 downsides, the hit points and the range. Everything else is top tier. It has torpedoes, it has torp defense, it has TMD, it literally has everything except range and hit points compared to a battleship. But we have some Salems over here. Are they going to go on to land? Probably not. They make them easier targets. They can't use their torpedoes. And there's a little bit of a skirmish happening over here that would allow Team 2 to push in to the main concourse of shipyards, but looks like no, that is not going to happen, at least as of right now. Team 2 could try to launch an assault westward and then just carve it eastward, wipe out the Aeon facility, and then slowly push in. Because putting your fleet in the belly of the beast, probably not the best idea. It could work. It's high risk, high reward. But eliminating a more of a side angle and essentially making the flanks a little bit more annoying for Team 1 to deal with probably would work out better. But we'll see what Team 2 ends up doing strategy-wise. T3 Air is online for Team 2. Obviously T3 Navy. T3 Navy has been started for the other UEF of Electrician. And Team 1, T3 Nope, T3 Nope. That fleet is starting to push in. And it does force Team 1's fleet, at least from Arima, to push westward to intercept to deal with this, because they have to. It's not if we lose this flank, it's not a big deal. Oh, it's a big deal. And it would put Team 2 in an advantage in terms of naval players. We have 3 Neptunes here. They need to get within range of that battleship and deal with this. This is the biggest concern for Team 2 right now, is this battleship. Yeah, they want to kill off mexes. Yeah, they want to kill off the headquarters over here. But if they can deal with the battleship here, that leaves only 1 on station for Team 1, and it's over here. And it takes a little bit to get within range. And those laser weapons, they can't shoot upward. They don't have a curve to them, so they're just being useless over there. So you got to get those things to move. Torp bombers moving in to go after those Yasows. The unique T3 sub-hunter in the game for the Seraphim. Get those 3 Neptunes, and even just the Summit. Just push in, because there's not a lot of forces for Team 1. Yeah, they're going to target the battle cruisers, to be honest, but get those within range, get the battleship dead, and then worry about everything else. Because you can't shoot upward, because that plateau is just a little bit too high. You wouldn't think it's too high, but it's fairly darn close. Because again, it's a line of sight weapon. You can see they have to go all the way back here just to get a line of sight on those on that shielding right there. The cruiser's going to do a very good job of punching in, because they arc, they go up and then down. Like nukes, they go up and then they go down. Speaking of nukes, do we see any of that from Team 2? No SMDs yet. 25 minutes. It is a ladder match, so there's a little bit of leeway for that. But still, SMD should be built at some point. At least started, and if not done by the 30-minute mark at a bare minimum. In ladder matches. In custom, 5v5, 6v6s, you definitely want them at like the 25-minute mark at a bare minimum. Bit of a mismatch here, says Pineapples. I mean, it's a 42-21 versus a 14-54. I mean, just 1v1ing, it's pretty good matchup, but it's not going well for Team 1 on that western front. We even see forces from Electrician hanging out. They're just cooped. Yeah, they are just coopers, which they could try to push in and go after the Yasows, both which have torpedoes and torp defense, but one is easily targetable and one is not, because one is underneath the surface of the waves and the other one is not. We have, of course, reclaim going down. Now, this is where the reclaim game is going to be very important. Navy has a lot of mass. We have 46,000 not climbing. It does make it a little bit harder to read it, given it's above the scoreboard, but I feel like just putting it in the corner of the map just to give a little bit more real estate for right here. Yeah, you'll miss, or I will miss, what's on the direct northwest corner, but I feel like, if it's right here, you're not really going to see that much anyways. So anyway, just trying new things. Again, we're recording and releasing 1440. I'm still working out the kinks. I need to constantly make sure that I actually set the setting to 1440. I did some work so it's automatic now versus me doing it manually in terms of setting the resolution for output on the recording software. And I have to do that for my other machine because currently this video is being released while I'm traveling, but other videos will be released while I'm traveling, or be made and then released while I'm traveling. So I have to make sure that machine's resolution is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's a 1440 monitor for that one, so it should give me the option to. But anyway, we have the entirety of Team 2 SEAL Forces fleet on the doorstep of Team 1's Pineapples. Nothing is really happening on Team 2's side of the map. Everything is happening on Team 1's. The downside of that is Team 1 is taking a lot of the brunt in terms of infrastructure damage. The benefit is all this reclaim is on Team 1's side of the map. So as long as Team 2 doesn't keep that territory and they don't bring engineers to do the reclaiming, which it looks like they're doing now, that's all Team 1's. There's a lot of mass on their side of the map to scoop up to put into maybe Navy units, maybe to put into other units. We do see T3 Navy is now done for Pineapples. Looks like he's going for maybe some engineers, maybe. I don't see any omens yet out of that facility. Team 2, T3 Navy, not even started. But it looks like T2 started on board both the UEF commanders for, I would just assume, teching up their comms just to build units out of their, off themselves, or just to get more hit points, one or the other. Ooh, there goes that Hathum class battleship. That got annihilated. That doesn't feel good. We do see the Atlantis has surfaced, and it's easily targetable by Team 1's forces. Kind of surprised they're not actually shooting it from the battleship. Do they see it? They have to see it. Yeah, they can see the big giant A if you do have the icon set. It's just an A. It's like, that's an Atlantis. Very easy. I like those, the changes to the experimentals. It makes them easily identifiable. You don't have to zoom in and be like, that's a monkey. Or, that's an Atlantis. You can just say, oh, that's an A. That's an Atlantis. Or the monkey symbol. That's the monkey. Or the Mega, which is an M, which I still think it should not be an M, but whatever. Should be something else. Or the G for the GC. Anyway. We have the destroyers acting as subs now, which is useful because they're not targetable by the main weapon systems on board the summits and the whatnot. And it's just summits and one battlecruiser for Team 2 remaining. So honestly, not being able to be targetable is a very good thing because those destroyers last longer. And again, the Atlantis does not have torp defense for whatever reason, which means it is easily overwhelmed by torpedoes. Even if it did have torp defense in this configuration for Team 1, it's being overwhelmed. Just is. Team 2 on the Eastern Front, lots and lots and lots and lots of dead units. And they are pushing in, to be fair, but that reclaim total is getting higher and higher. And nothing is happening on Team 2's side of the map. I feel like if Team 1 is able to push in either the Eastern Front or the Western Front, or even just straight down the middle, I don't think Team 2 has the infrastructure at the current moment to fight back against this. Or that push. So if Team 1 can deal with this, or a combination of the two and push in, not going to look good for Team 2. We do see ASFs over the top of those destroyers. Neptune battlecruiser also in the mix here for Electrician, annoying the Eastern Front. And they are splitting Team 1's focus. They're not sending, all the units this way, all the units this way. They're coming at it from different angles, forcing a split. So Team 1, or Team 2 even, because they're doing it to themselves, grouping their forces together. The Neptune battlecruiser is not within range of the summit of the Hathum. It needs to move. Oh, no, it don't. Oh, it fired for a brief moment, but didn't continue firing for whatever reason. And the remaining battleships are being dealt with, all of them heavily damaged. The Atlantis is now, again, submerged, but it's slowly dealing with those destroyers. Team 1, I don't know why they're not producing more Yassaus. I feel like Yassaus would definitely be helpful a little bit more. We have bombers being thinned out on the eastern side from all of those destroyers. And again, the AA isn't great on the destroyers, but they have cruisers to back them up in that way. But the destroyers do have AA weapons. And again, look at this. Mexes are dead over there. Mexes are dead over there. Team 1 is being demolished in the eco game. 1.3 to Team 2 for Team 1 to 800, almost 900 for Team 1. So just getting absolutely annihilated. And the longer this goes on, that huge divide might get wider. It might not, but Team 2 might invest in other things, and looks like they might start doing that. You could probably put a nuke right there. I think it's too big. Yeah, because the nuke's slightly small. I think it's a 3x3. It's the size of a T2P gen, if I remember my sizes correctly. So probably not. They might put it there. Who knows? I highly doubt it, though. We have Team 1 torp bombers now throwing their flames on a... Oh, the engineers were coming to repair it or whatever, and they ran into the fire. Oh, that's unfortunate for those lonely little engineers. But look at this. The Atlantis is the only thing remaining from that fleet. Team 1 is heavily pushing in westward. And now we're starting to see Team 2 attack down the middle. We're seeing a little bit more of some just letting off of the gas on the eastern front for Team 2, not pushing in. Maybe they're prepping for a counterattack. We have Atlantis being built here. We have tons of facilities acting as bullet sponges. And T3 Navy has finally been started for Team 2's eastern player of Terminus. And Summit is done. More summits, more barracudas, more and more and more for Team. Oh my goodness, the bombers. That's what was producing all of those. Dang. Oh, they're going to get rinsed by those ASFs, and they don't get a target in mind, and they all die off fairly quickly. So that's unfortunate for Team 2. Team 2's air forces don't look great. Team 1, I think, is the only one really investing into air tech. We have 79 ASFs, which again doesn't seem like a lot given it's 35 minutes on the clock. But when Team 2 has maybe a squadron, maybe. I don't even see that many for SEAL Force. He has 6. He has half a squadron. He has a wing. Is a wing 3 or 6? I feel like a wing is 6, but I think it's 3. I can't remember. Anyway, we have battleships engaging down the middle between Team 2 and Team 1. We have a little bit of a force brewing on the eastern side against Team 2. From Arima, and we have Terminus with the torpedo upgrade on board. Again, those spiky little shoulder pads almost poking out of the water. Doesn't have nano, doesn't have stealth, doesn't have any other hit points or anything. He's going to get blitzed very quickly by the inbound destroyers, and they do not have torpedoes. The Hathums do not. They don't have torp defense. No. We have bombers inbound helping to thin out the herd a little bit, but nah. Atlantis is still alive and kicking. Is this the new? Oh, that's the new one. Where's the old one? Is that the old one? That's the old one. Oh, look, its wreck is sticking out of the water. Look at that. That's how high the ground is in the water scenario. That some of the wrecks are actually able to stick out of the water. That's again very, very short. And 36 minutes on the clock, and there is that resurgence from Team 1. They pushed back. Again, Team 2 pushed. Team 1 built a lot of forces. Now they're shoving it back in Team 2's face. And Team 2 is just not really prepped for it. They're getting stuff online now. Tons of battleships. Lots of hit points, of course. Lots of long-range stuff. But a Team 1 can get in with those destroyers, with any mixture of units. Again, the longer range is the advantage to the battleship. The disadvantage is when you have, 20 destroyers surrounding one battleship. As we see over here, not even 20 with some bombers to assist. They don't match up very well because the battleships are meant for longer, like time-wise engagements, longer range engagements, where it's just a battleship shooting shot, and the battleship returns a shot, and the battleship shoots a shot. But like when you're constantly doing this back and forth with destroyers, good luck. With those battleships, are just going to get annihilated. And speaking of getting annihilated, there goes that Atlantis, just absolutely evaporated, just diminished, singed, not singed. Singed is like kind of getting hit, but not really. This is a little smidgen. But there's the second Atlantis, pops up out of the water to use its AA weapons and just still gets brutalized by Team 1's just bombers. Attack missile started on Team 2. Steel Force probably going for Billy Nuke, I would imagine. Look at these bombers. Third pass in. Yeah, they're going after a Summit. Again, a little bit more hit points than Atlantis, but they've wiped out heavy, like 50% of its hit points. Not looking good for Team 2's reliance on those Atlantis. And that is the one downside, is just overwhelm it with torpedoes. Again, that's true for anything, but specifically the Atlantis, because it does not have torp defense for whatever stupid reason. Don't know why. Ooh, nuke online for Team 1. Not loaded. Team 2, how's your scouting going? They are aware of the nuke. Team 2 scouting is very good because they see pretty much everything but the new units. Team 1, how's your scouting? Okay, their scouting is pretty good. Again, when you have a little bit of a thin environment in terms of land, all you got to do is just run over your, ASF, not ASF, your spy plane once or twice, and it should be fine. I like how they're just sitting there. Summit's shooting at them. A little bit of some friendly fire, maybe. That's not going to go well, especially with that E-storage right there. And the counterattack is inbound. Team 1 scaling their eco quite nicely. 1.2 to 1.3. They've caught up considerably. Reclaim heavily again in Team 1's favor. 223 to 72K. Total mass on the map now. It's at 140, so it's almost... Has it tripled? It's pretty much tripled on the map since we last checked it out. 39 minutes on the clock. Let me know down in the comments if you think it's going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't, because why not at this point? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching. I really, really, really do appreciate it. And again, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And again, patience. I appreciate as well with, oh, it's 1440 now. Oh, it's 1080 again. Oh, it's, still working out the kinks. Once I get the process where I don't have to set the settings every single time, just like I did with this machine, that should just be the norm. And it should be the norm from now on. So, appreciate the patience. Hopefully you're enjoying the larger format. So, makes it easier to watch on a TV or, a bigger screen other than... I have a 27-inch in front of me right now. I have actually 3 27 inches in front of me right now. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Thank you for the patience. Thank you for also dealing with my random ranting or whatnot about nonsense. I do appreciate it. Summits and battleships. And then again, this is the main... look at Venn diagram. Look, the main focus of battleships are these longer range, really prolonged engagements. Look at those torpedoes. That's not help. Full for Team 2. But you do see some, ASFs here, but they're going to kill off at least the cruisers. They wipe out the AA. You shoot at the stuff shooting at you, then you wipe out everything else. The only issue is they don't have another wave of bombers to come in and do even more damage. They still have some bombers remaining, but there's not a lot of firepower. Where's the nuke? Where'd the nuke go? Did the nuke already get shot? Oh, no, it's still... Oh, it's from Team 2 for Team 1! Oh, that's gotta hurt. You nuked the nuke and blew up a comm on the process. I was like, oh, the nuke should be landing pretty soon from Team 1. Nope, it's from Team 2. That's a boom if I've ever seen one. Oof, duh. Oh, and that's a nuke over here. It blends in with all the red and all those engineers. I wish you could move the icons in terms of being on the top or on the bottom, because look at that. All the engineers are on top of it. I can't even see the nuke is there. I feel like all the icons, like all the highlighted ones I made, could just be on top, so you could see the nuke over all of the engineers, all of the everything. Like, for example, the Atlantis is over in terms of the icon over the top of the summit, because the summits are important, or anything else is important as well, but specifically, like, I want to see this unit easily. Oh, okay, we'll make that on the top. I feel like that's super simple, because you can do that with a lot of graphics editing and whatnot. Is like, oh, you have a square, or a square, and then you have a circle. You would probably want the circle on top of the square instead of the square on top of the circle, because you won't even see the circle in that scenario. Anyway, a little ranting about icons, but ARIMA control Ks, that's a legitimate control K. That's not a blowing up because of mass fabs or power or whatnot. That's a legitimate control K. He could have left the game. He did say a GG, so it's probably a deliberate control K, leaving just Pineapples 3 remaining against Team 2's 3 players. So not looking good if you're rooting for Team 1 at this point. Again, the fleet is inbound from Team 2 with the nuke down as well. The SMD was not loaded, which is definitely unfortunate. SMD is not loaded. SMD is not loaded. If Team 2 has another nuke, I have 1 option, 2 options, 3 options, a couple of different options for Team 2 to go after, all pretty much in the same spot. It is half loaded, a little bit over that. 113,000 mass. That's a very beautiful amount of mass. because it's over 100,000 just because of the amount of nonsense. We do see Team 1. It got that Hathum built, but it looks like it was just stuck there. It's still stuck there. That's not going well for Team 1's fleet by any means. And look at this. Team 2 attacks in the west, attacks in the middle. We see some little bit fight backs on the eastern side, but it's 5 galaxies versus 1 battleship. And Team 1 is not pushing their fleet in. That's going to be won by Team 2, hands down. It just is, and there's just a slow thinning out of the everything for Team 1, or for Pineapples at this point. Again, he has lots of facilities at his disposal, but he's losing territory fairly quickly. He's lost a chunk of mass, lost a chunk of air grid. He's trying to load the SMD as quickly as possible. He has, what, 3 of them being loaded as we speak, and he should be able to load all of the important ones. Unless that nuke fires immediately after it's loaded. And the other look at this, we have bubble shields coming in, some of the mobile shielding. I say bubble because when they're on water, you can actually, or over the water, you can actually see the bubble. Which I think is also funny that the unit actually isn't in the actual center of the circle. It's a little bit higher than that. Don't know why. That's just the way that the devs designed it. And we do see, ooh, there goes that battleship. Yeah, look at this. There's so many of them. 7 of them here for electrician, and then 13, but I'm going to get rid of 3 of those because they're not in range. So 10 of the 17 battleships. Another nuke is inbound. It's going to nuke the air grid. SMD is not going to be loaded in time. SMD will be close. It's going to be close, but it doesn't have a big amount of territory to run around or go fly over. So honestly, it probably will. Oh no, it is going to load in time, isn't it? There it is. The SMD is loaded. The nuke will be shot down as the caster eats those words. But again, yes, the nuke was shot down, but there's so many more other issues for Team 1 to deal with. Nuke, of course, is being heavily assisted. And yeah, the SMD is loaded, or will be loaded once again before that nuke fires, but all the other units protecting it are slowly being just whittled down. We have galaxies now coming in from the east. Yeah, this is not going well for Team 1 by any means. 45 minutes on the clock and climbing. Not looking good. Is that a Billy nuke? It is a Billy nuke. Hey, look, there's Team 2 Steel Force with the Billy nuke. There it is. Oh, wipes out a facility and a bunch of engineers supporting it. T3 Naval Headquarters. That, you might as well just target that. It prevents new construction of battleships. Again, anything that's already currently being built will be finished, but anything in the queue will be denied. That's why it's nice to get rid of those headquarters to eliminate the construction of newer things. And yes, I count newer things as not stuff that's been started. Because if you start it, you can still build it. And it's just, look at it. The omens, it's a bad omen for Team 1. Your omens are being annihilated before they even fire, a significant amount of artillery shells. There's the T3 Seraphim headquarters. So no more Hathum class battleships. Just the ones that are on queue, or at least the ones that are currently being built, I should say. SMDs are now being hit. That's not good. And eastern side's pretty much nothing over there. SMDs, of course, are loaded. Now we have battleships hitting the air grid there. And yeah, there's just not a whole lot for Team 1 to fight back with. And again, that's partly because Team 1 was on defense the entire time, and they did mount a counterattack, but they just didn't get far enough into Team 2's territory to really inflict significant damage for them to be able to pull back and rebuild. Team 2 hardly had any issues on their side of the map. No land harassment, at least as of right now, as I say stuff, because Team 1 sending some bombers inbound. They might wipe out the nuke. That probably will be the one target. There's no pigeons. There's no shielding here. That'll be an easy 2-tap, 3-tap, 3-tap, 2-tap. Some sort of tapping for that amount of bombers. T3 Naval Headquarters for the UEF tech is gone. Here comes the battle. Here comes the strats for the... What? You're not going to go after the nuke? What are you going after? If it's not the... You're going after the air grid? That's not even worth... No. What? You could have killed the nuke off. Well, that did not go the way that I thought it would. I think he was going after the air forces to maybe try to get an air win, but yeah, it didn't really work. And then there goes Team 1's Pineapples right there, Control K, as well as what Arima did. So Team 2 wins the game. You could have at least killed the nuke off. That would have been, you know, somewhat explosive. Nobody was there. I don't know what they were trying to go for. You had CO Force over here. You had other two, you know, comms in the water. So it was going to be either Torp Bombers or, you know, somewhat lucky AoE strats, because that's definitely close enough for it to be able to be AoE'd next to the comm. But I don't know. I don't know what that was supposed to be accomplishing. Again, I think it was trying to target this and then wipe out the ability for Team 2 to build more ASFs. But at that point, you have this huge issue right here. And you have the nuke that really kind of just set things in motion. Wiped out a player, wiped out Team 1's nuke. And then a couple minutes later, obviously, Arima Control K'd. And obviously, a couple minutes later, technically after that, Pineapples Control K'd as well. But Team 2 wins the game. Flawless victory from them. Nobody died. MVPs, I mean, honestly, everybody was doing a very good job with Navy. I'd say maybe slightly in favor for CO Force. He's got his eco going very quickly, which means he could pump out lots of forces. He went for T3 a little bit early and did push in. Wiped out a decent chunk of the fleet from Team 1. Also got some, you know, land forces in. Wiped out more mexes here. Set Team 1's Pineapple back a little bit. Again, that helps. That little bit of, you know, 30 seconds, a minute, that does add up. And I think it was just pressure. Team 1 finally fought back, and then Team 2 went okay, and they just punched back hard enough to where it just didn't really matter. But again, nice nuke from Team 2's Terminus. Wiped out Team 1's nuke. There was an SMD. I don't know if all of these were built and loaded by then. 4 and 3 maybe. They were aware of the nuke, so they could have targeted maybe naval units with the nuke from Team 1. But look at that. Look at that nonsense. Look at all that crazy nonsensical amount of mass. How much mass is on the map at the end? That is the run button. Wow. That is 330,000 mass on the map. That's a lot. Again, Navy, it's very mass intensive. But we didn't see any experimentals. We didn't, besides land forces specifically. We didn't see any like, oh, there's a megalith walking on the bottom of the water and can still shoot its cannon. Nope, we didn't see that, which is unfortunate. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't, because why not at this point at the very end of the video, hit the like button and subscribe. Again, thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. And again, if you have a replay that you want to send me, tomorrow is the viewer cast day thing. I forget what I actually named it. Viewer Wednesday. So submit me your replays. I'll take a look at them, add them in my queue, that sort of thing. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one.